Asalmualaikum. Asalmualaikum, everybody. What? Not like, oh, I'm just trying to get everyone's attention. Yeah. Abby's like, am I getting scolded? What's happening? Yeah. Today is the ideal Muslim wife. All right. Asalaamualaikum, everyone. All right. So I'm actually excited because we actually have some brothers here today for the first time ever. Jazakallah khair, you guys, for attending. No, you can ask questions. Okay. So we'll do a Q&A at the end. Okay. So we'll start inshallah with a dua, which I have up on the screen. So bismillah, walhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. وعلى آله وصحبه من والاه اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا إنك سميع مجيب الدعاء اللهم إني أعوذ بك من علم لا ينفع وقلب لا يخشع ومن نفس لا تشبع ودعاء لا يسمع ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. All right, bismillah. So I did an exercise with the sisters last week. I don't know if you guys want to do it this week, so let me ask you. Last time, I had the sisters list out all of the categories of what they want in an ideal husband, and we went through them. Do you guys want to go through this, or do you want me to just start with the class? You want to go through it? Okay, so... All right, gentlemen. Am I in there now? Okay, cool. All right, half the brothers are gone, so you guys are going to be the ones responsible now to help me out. So, okay? What? Wait, did someone say a question? Already? Okay, good. So here we go. Ideal wife. All right, gentlemen. I want you to list out. Forget about looks. I'm talking strictly about characteristics, personality. What do we want in a Muslim wife?
I'll go first, I guess.
Go for it.
So I'm too young to get married yet. I'm 17, so insha'Allah down the line.
Inshallah, one day, yes, yeah.
But so for ideal wife, pious, of course, that's an obvious one. I think every. I think coming with that is also modesty. Modesty is good anyway, of course.
Yep.
Honest. Honesty is definitely good.
Uh-huh.
I guess, but also to add on to that, not afraid to voice her thoughts on things.
Okay, so outspoken?
Yeah. Definitely.
All right, so we've got pious, modest, honest, outspoken. Any more? Yes. Submissiveness, so she listens to her husband, you mean? Okay.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if that was the correct word.
No, you're good. I know what you're trying to say. What else?
Respect and good communication.
Respect.
Communication is a big one.
Yep.
Yeah, big one.
And communicator.
You got some of the ones that.
Yeah? Anything else?
Loyalty.
Loyalty.
There you go.
Loyal. What else, you guys? We're assuming she's beautiful. She's everything that you want in a woman looks-wise, but Honorable. All right.
Common interests.
Common interests. Yes, I like that. Interests. Oh. Forgive my ugly handwriting, but I will read them out loud. What else? Is that it? I know we're missing half the group. I don't know where they went, but when they come back, they're probably going to have their own stuff to add to the board. So I'll ask them for their input at that time. But for now, we've got a great list here. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to reference an ayah. We talked about this last week when we talked about ideal husbands, but I just want to refresh and remind everybody. So I'm good. Oh, is it in the way? Sorry. Okay, cool. That's perfect. Okay. So this is an ayah in Surah Al-Rum, and this is where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us the purpose of marriage. The purpose of marriage, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created spouses from amongst you, لِتَسْكُنُوا إِلَيْهَا, to find peace and tranquility and comfort within your spouse. That is why we have spouses, right? So there's a lot of compassion, mercy, love between two people. And we're going to just read, this is something we talked about last week as well. A righteous wife, there is a hadith that states that the world is full of temporary conveniences, and the best comfort in the world for a man is a righteous woman, okay? So the greatest blessing a man can have in this dunya is a righteous wife. So that's a very big statement. And actually, Abby, I'm going to ask you for a favor. Can you give me the two books that are behind you? Okay. So today we're talking about the ideal wife. So I need to make a few disclaimers here for the sisters because I'm going to go hard today. All right. This book right here, first of all, before I start, I am going to talk And I'm so sorry. Sometimes I trip in my words and I'll say you instead of we or us, but I want to make it very clear when I am talking about what an ideal woman should be, I am addressing myself first and I'm taking my own advice first. I am not saying it's just you ladies, okay, and you need to fix this. This is all for me first. And I'm a learner and I'm a student of this just like you guys are. And I by no means I'm sitting here acting like I'm the expert in marriage. For those of you who don't know, I was married and divorced. So I definitely know that I don't have it down to the, I'm not an expert. But insha'Allah, I'm just passing on what I've learned. So these are the two books. This is for the men. This is by the same author. This is The Ideal Muslim and this is The Ideal Muslimah. And I don't know if you guys can see this, but can you tell the difference between these books? Which one's bigger? Okay. Okay. So for context, the women's book is 200 pages longer than the men's. And this chapter about ideal husband and ideal wife, the men's one was 23 pages, the women's is 59. Okay, and so before you freak out and think, what the heck, okay, I'm gonna tell you to reframe how you think about this. In a company, who is more impactful in decision making? Is it a CEO or is it the secretary? CEO. Okay, CEO would naturally have more responsibilities. Instead of looking at this and thinking, oh my God, Allah wants me to do more than the men, I want you to think about you have a very impactful role in this deen and in this ummah. Women are very important in Islam. Contrary to what the world is going to tell you, we are highly valued individuals. Go ahead, did you have a question?
And one thing I want to bring up is a hadith where the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, man came up and asked him basically about, who should play first.
Yeah.
And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said 3 times because the man asked 3 times. Yep. He said your mother.
Exactly.
And after the 4th, he said then your father.
Very nice. Yes. So the brother I'm going to say this into the mic because it doesn't always pick up what you say, but the brother referenced the hadith where it talks about mentioning the mother 3 times, which we talked about, and when we talked about Muslims and their parents. So yes, ladies, you play a huge role in this ummah. We are the ones that make these men successful. Behind every successful man is a strong woman, right? You prop up your men, and we are the mothers of this ummah. We raise this ummah. So we make a huge difference into what happens and what kind of society we raise. That is why you have more responsibilities, but it is because you have an elevated status, not because you are looked down upon or you're less than, okay? So I just want everybody to keep that in mind as we move forward. So what is it that makes an ideal woman? First things first, she chooses a good husband. All right, ladies, I'm going to make it very clear. The hadith have proven you cannot force a woman to marry someone she does not want to marry. Okay? Your dad can't force you. Your parents can't force. No one can force you. But what's the saying? They say with great power comes great responsibility. Having that freedom of choice, you have accountability for it as well. You have to be very smart when choosing a man. You choose a husband that is a good person, that is a good Muslim. This is the priority, okay? Now, contrary to what people will tell you, you also should choose a husband that you find attractive. I don't know where the aunties got this idea that we got to marry him even though he's ugly because he's a doctor and he's a lawyer. And they're like, no, Habibti, you're not going to find anyone else. No, stop, okay? The Rasul ﷺ made it very clear on both the men's side and the women's side. Both of you have to be attracted to each other. There's no such thing as marrying sight unseen. Okay, he says, no, go check out the person. Make sure you're good with how they look because you're going to spend a life together. Y'all better be interested in each other, okay? Yeah, you're going to be looking at each other a lot. Exactly, right? Okay, and so especially with women, we have to be very, very selective when we're choosing a husband. A righteous woman isn't superficial when she's choosing a husband. What does that mean? So just like a righteous man is not going to be attracted to a woman that's living in haram or doing things that she's not supposed to just because she's pretty. Everybody's pretty. There's pretty girls everywhere. But a good Muslim man is not going to be attracted to that. That'll be a turnoff for him. Same thing for a woman. You are not attracted to the flashy playboy who's got money, who's got cars, who's cute, but he's got no moral compass. He's got no deen. That is something that will turn you off. As soon as you see that happening, you're like, nope, that's not for me. That's not what I'm looking for. That ideal man that we described last week, that ideal husband, that's not him, okay? So when we choose someone, we need to choose someone who's of good character, good deen, he's educated, clean lifestyle, right? He's not messing around. He's a good Muslim guy. And he's not someone who's just showing up to the masjid 5 days a week and he's showing off that I'm such a Muslim, but then outside of that, he's messing around or he's not good with me. No, we need a good Muslim man. And there's a hadith that says that where the Rasul ﷺ told the dads, he was saying, if someone comes to you whose religion and character you like, marry your daughter to him. Because if you don't do so, then fitna and mischief will spread in the earth. Now, obviously, again, we're marrying with consent, right? Nobody's being forced to marry anybody here. But the idea is this. Let's take a scenario. Let's say you're a good Muslim girl, okay? and you see this flashy guy, he's cute, he's got all the money, he's got all the great stuff, you choose to marry this guy. All right, what does your lifestyle look like? He's not praying, he's maybe drinking, or maybe he's not lowering his gaze, so he's out here flirting with all his co-workers. This is your qawam, this is your leader, this is the guy who's going to keep you on your deen? Probably not. And not only that, is he going to be the one to raise righteous kids? What kind of children are we raising? And if the husband doesn't have a moral compass, right, it's highly likely that he'll do something haram, like maybe he'll get into haram business. Maybe he'll open up a restaurant, sell alcohol in it, and say, hey, love, it's no big deal. Everybody's doing it. It's not a big deal. Go ahead. Did you have a question?
One thing I want to bring up, they say that you are the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with.
Right.
And, of course, your partner is going to be the people you spend the most time
Absolutely.
with. Next to, like, your parents and such.
Exactly.
And like you say, if your partner is, going out, maybe opening business with alcohol and those things, that's going to indirectly impact you, and then you may start to go astray. Maybe you perform salah less, maybe you're not, maybe you're not fasting every day Ramadan.
Absolutely.
Or what have you.
Yeah.
Or you're not reading the Quran as much as you should, or hadith, or things like that. And or you're rushing your salah, you're not focused on salah.
Right.
And that will subconsciously impact you. You don't even realize it. Absolutely. In the moment. You don't even realize it until you're away from it.
Totally, yeah. So choosing your partner has a big influence on your religion. That's absolutely true. So if your husband's not praying, your husband's not following the deen, most likely you're going to slip in your deen as well. Okay, so the husband's getting into haram businesses, and then what's happening next? Oh my gosh, we're bringing in haram money. There's no barakah in our household. All of the money and everything we're eating and everything we're wearing is haram. Okay, so now you as the woman, what have you got going on? What deen are you holding on to when your own husband isn't running his household with deen? You're falling apart. And then your kids, what kind of kids am I raising? I'm going to tell my kids, oh yeah, be a good Muslim, but they'll say, like, Baba doesn't pray. I don't see Baba praying. No, don't worry about Baba. He's not a good Muslim, but you got this. You got this. It's not going to happen. There you go. This household, not a good household for the ummah. They're falling apart. Now on the other side, we've got the good brothers who are struggling to find wives, and they're seeing these guys get all the wives, and they're like, well, what the heck, man? What am I supposed to do? So what happens? Maybe that brother goes into haram as well. He's like, you know what? Fine. I just got to make money. I don't care how. I'm going to go do that. Or maybe he marries a woman who's not so much on her deen. And then there we go. We've got a mom who's raising Muslim kids that really doesn't know anything about Islam, doesn't really care. So then we've got fitna here, fitna here. There goes the Muslim ummah. All because of the choice that we made as women. So your choice carries a lot of weight. That's why your book is so much longer than the men's. Anything we choose impacts the entire Muslim society. So we have to be so careful. And so I'll tell you a story about Sulaym. She is a female companion at the time of the Prophet ﷺ. So she was married to a man named Malik, and she had a son named Anas. And when Anas was 10 years old, she gave him to the Prophet ﷺ to go serve him, just kind of like as a mentorship, to kind of live life with him and see how he behaves. So Sulaym, when she became Muslim, her husband Malik was mad. And he was like, I'm not dealing with that, I'm leaving. So he left her, and then eventually he passed away. So she's widowed, and she's a single mom. Now there was a guy in Medina called Abu Talha. He was Medina's most eligible bachelor. Okay, he was cute, he was strong, he had money, and he wanted Sulaym. So he's coming up to her and he's offering her mahr dowry, and he's like, hey, I'm going to give you everything you want, marry me. And she's like, you're not Muslim. I'm not going to marry somebody who's not Muslim. And she goes, you want to marry me? Convert to Islam. He's like, what? That's crazy. She's like, I'm not marrying you otherwise. He would come back with more money, and he wanted her so bad, okay? And he would come back, and every time he'd come through to her, she would give him like a rhetorical question about his God. She'd be like, okay, you're worshiping these idols. What's that about? Why do you, she's trying to get him to think, right? And she kept rejecting him. And then at some point he came to her and he's like, I'm going to give you everything I have, please. Like, I want you so bad. And she was like, okay. She goes, the God that you're worshiping was carved by the slave of this person. She goes, and if you set fire to it, it's going to burn. What do you think about that? And he's like, yeah, God's not supposed to burn. That's not a thing. So he started to think, and he realized that she was right, and he converted. So as soon as he did that, alhamdulillah, they got married. They were happy, right? But the idea behind this is she had so much self-discipline. This woman knew what mattered. It wasn't about what he had. It wasn't about his money. It wasn't about his looks. She knew, I need a Muslim husband who's going to practice this deen with me, who's going to be good, strong. So he even offered her after that. He tried to give her more money for mahr, and she's like, nope. The fact that you converted, that's more than enough reward for me. That's all I want. So alhamdulillah. So this is the kind of woman that we want to try to be, right? When we're making a decision and choosing a husband. All right. This is usually where I lose people. So bear with me. Okay. So we said, I think you guys already mentioned this. You said you want a woman who listens to her husband. Oh, for the brothers that came in, We made a list of the ideal wife. Anybody have anything else they want to contribute to this list? We've got pious, modest, honest, outspoken, listens to her husband, respectful, good communicator, loyal, honorable, and common interests, shares common interests with her husband. Anything else that comes to mind in what you want? Outspoken. I think, okay, maybe the word that they're looking for here is like she speaks her mind, like she speaks up. All right, speaks up. Let's just say that. All right, brother. Brother Ibrahim had a problem with that? No, I'm just joking. Anybody else have anything they want to add to this list? Okay, because this list is going to stick with us. So we've already got listens to her husband, and respect is on this slide. All right, ladies, before you get mad at me. Okay, when it comes to obeying your husband, all right, this is why it's so important for... Oh, did it go away? Okay, sorry, all right. Maybe because I touched the table. I'm going to try not to do that. When it comes to obeying your husband, okay, this is why it's so important to pick the right guy. There is no room for oppression or abuse of women in Islam. We made that very clear last week. Your husband has to respect you. He has to treat you well. Now, if you choose a good guy, he is not going to ask you to do something or refrain you from doing something just to be a jerk. Okay? If your husband is telling you, I don't want you going there, or I don't want you doing that, usually there's going to be a good reason. If he's a fair and good person. Remember I told you last week my mom would make dua and marry a religious guy because he'll be fair. This is what we're talking about. So the idea of respecting and obeying him shouldn't be scary. Now, if you're with the wrong dude, it's going to be scary because he might probably take advantage of that. So a good husband will fear Allah first. So he's not going to want to ask you to do something or do something to you that's going to be a violation or unfair to you. So that's the most important thing. So naturally, respecting a good man should come easy. We talked about women last week. We talked about masculine and feminine. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created masculine and feminine energy, right? Now, on the women's side, we said, in order to be in your feminine, you want your husband to take care of you. You want security. I want him to love on me. I want him to promise he's not going to go anywhere. I want him to be loyal. I want him to take care of you financially. What do men need? Men want respect in their household. That is a huge deal for men. And so as a woman, we talked about the cuddle hormone last week. So for those who weren't here, I was saying how biologically speaking, when a woman's upset, one of the best things you can do is hug her because that will release a hormone in her brain called oxytocin, which is known as the cuddle hormone, and it calms her. Now, what is it for men? What makes men feel good? Increasing their testosterone levels. How do you do that? You make him feel like a man. You let him lead his household. When your husband tells you to do something, and you don't do it or you deviate away from it, what am I indirectly telling him? That I don't trust you to be the leader. I don't believe in you. I don't think you're man enough, right? That's my response if I'm disobeying my husband. So in order to make your husband feel good, you are reminding him that he's in charge, right? That you trust his leadership and that you respect him. So that's part of it. So this is down to, if your husband doesn't want you going somewhere, ladies, or he doesn't want you going to that gathering, or he doesn't want you hanging out with that person, you do not go. And even if he's out of town, or you don't bring that girlfriend over that he said, I don't want you interacting with. No, you respect his household. You respect his rules, no matter where he's at. That is you being a good woman. You don't obey anyone else against him. When you marry your husband, you answer to him, not even your own parents. So if your parents tell you to do something, husband tells you to do the opposite, of course, expecting that this is all within the guidelines of Islam, he's not asking you to do anything haram, you listen to your husband, okay? So this is why we got to be really careful with who we choose, right? She responds to her husband's marital needs. Now, I got to touch on this one because this is one of the things that has been framed to be this sort of oppressive, misogynistic requirement. And I need you to reframe your minds about how you think about this, okay? Yes, Allah's going to hold me accountable for what I say here, so I got to be straight. If your husband wants to be intimate with you, you are expected to drop whatever you're doing and go be with your husband. Now, of course, if you're physically sick or whatever, this is a different story. But generally speaking, you are to respond to that. Now, the language we say around this is hard because I'm trying not to be crude and I don't want to be inappropriate, but this is what it is. We as women, if your husband comes to you spontaneously and he gives you flowers, or he gives you a kiss on the cheek, or he, comes home and says, hey babe, let's go out for a surprise dinner date or something, right? Something romantic. Wouldn't that make you feel good? Doesn't that make you feel happy? Your husband's thinking of you. He wants to spend time with you. This should be no different. When your husband is coming to you and saying he's attracted to you, he wants to be with you, there's no reason why it should feel like this weird, unnecessary obligation that I have to do. This is something between husband and wife. This is the only person you can be physically intimate with and it be halal. This should be something beautiful that both of you share, and it should be something that you're happy and excited about, okay? And if you're not, there's a problem there, right? So Again, this is not something that should feel like a burden or something that should feel awful. That's why you got to be attracted to this man. You got to be sure of his character. You got to be sure that he's a good person so you can continue to feel that emotional drive and desire towards your husband. We are very emotionally driven creatures, okay? And we talked about last week, one of the things the ladies asked for is they said they want a man who's loyal. And there is a hadith that says, of course, we're all supposed to lower our gazes. So we shouldn't be checking out other men shouldn't be checking out other women, but Allah, let's say it happens and your husband happens to see something that he finds attractive, right? And this is Sin City. These things are in your face, whether you like it or not, right? The hadith says if a man sees something like that, he should go and be intimate with his wife, channeling that energy towards his wife. So it's encouraging him to stay loyal. Now let's imagine your husband approaches you and whatever, that's what's going on, and then you reject him. What happens? This is shaitan's playing field. This is the best time to get into both of you, whispering down. I remember I told you guys last week, shaitan loves nothing more than to break up a good marriage. All right? Yeah, go ahead. Did you want to say something? Absolutely. And it's going to create fitna, right? So the shaitan, he sends out his minions every single day and he goes, go forth, cause mischief in the universe, okay? They come back at night and they gather around him and he goes, all right, everybody tell me what you did. And this guy's like, oh, I helped a guy commit zina. I made this person drink. I made this person do this. No, okay, great. One of them comes up and says, I broke up a husband and wife today. He goes, you come here. You get the crown. That's like an honor in their creepy little circle. That is the best thing they could do in his eyes. So shaitan will work overtime on you guys. So do not, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam are teaching us, don't even open that door of fitna. Your husband wants you, go be with your husband. Okay? So now moving on to the next. Any woman who dies and her husband is pleased with her will enter paradise. This is a really, really great thing. Obviously, like I said, it's a lot of responsibility. But if you manage to achieve this, ladies, you will get to choose whichever gate of heaven you want to go into on Yawm al-Qiyamah. You get to choose on Day of Judgment which one I'm going to enter in. So this is a great opportunity, but it's also a warning. Your husband could be your key to Jannah, but he could also be your key to Jahannam, okay? Be very careful with how you deal with your husbands, right? You have to make sure you choose a good guy that you can work with. This is really important. If you are fearful in this marriage that you are going to disobey this man, that I cannot live with him, I cannot do what he's asking of me, get divorced. Because it's very serious. It's a grave sin to disobey your husband. So you really don't want to be in that. It's hot water. Don't do it. If you're afraid that you won't be able to do it, you should ask for a divorce. All right. In the home, what is the wife at home? Okay, this is the imagery I have, but I grew up in the Midwest, so that might be why I have this. But like, I picture like a really cute house with a porch, and it's like fall time. You go inside, there's a fireplace. It's warm, it's cozy. It smells like cookies or something like really fresh and sweet, or cinnamon. And that's just my vibe of a cozy home. But you want your home to feel like a warm hug. Like you want your husband to be excited to come to your house. It's warm, it's inviting, it's clean, it's well decorated. Be in your feminine energy, girls. Go crazy with your interior designing. Have fun. Make your home appealing. Okay, now technically, Islamically speaking, yes, you are not obligated to cook or clean for your husband. If your husband can afford it, and if you want to upfront say, hey, I need a maid, like I'm not going to be the one cooking and cleaning and standing in the kitchen, I'll take care of everything else, that's between you and him. You have every right to ask for it. But from the perspective of trying to be a really good wife, a righteous wife, okay, let's say your husband works a 9 to 5, or he works a tough job, he's coming home every day, he's tired. Out of the kindness of your heart, if you can, I would say, try to make him a nice meal. It doesn't have to be 5-star Michelin restaurant, girls. Like it can be the most basic thing, but just a gesture of love and kindness, right? Keep your home clean, be welcoming, be inviting, right? You want your husband to be feeling good when he comes home. This is where he decompresses. And you devote yourself to taking care of your house and your husband, and this includes obviously your children, right? You play a very important role in making home feel like home, okay? Now, your interactions with your husband. You are with your husband in tough times, and you're with your husband in good times. He's sad, you're sad with him. He's excited, you're celebrating with him. He got emotion, you are acting like it happened to you, because you guys are one unit now. So you have to be full on experiencing things with him. Common interests, I think, was mentioned here. Yeah, get involved with your husband's activities. He likes to go to the gym, girl, go to the gym with him. He likes to go hiking, go hiking. Be involved with him. You don't know what he does for work, ask him. Be involved in that part of his life. Like I've met women that don't know what their husbands do for work. Girl, get involved, be a part of it. Take interest in his interests, right? You want to spend time with this person. This is supposed to be your best friend. Engage with him that way. You treat his mother and his family with kindness and respect. Okay, also a touchy subject, but let's get into it. All right, sometimes we have difficult in-laws. That's inevitable, it happens. All right. Your role as a wife, what is your role? Technically, yes, you don't answer to these people. They're not your parents, but your husband does answer to them. Your husband does still have to keep them happy, and they are his salat rahim, they're his family. So you play a very important role. Always maintain respect with his family, no matter how you feel about them. And the Quran teaches us, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, "Idfa billati hiya ahsan," which essentially means take the high road. They go low, you go high. You got a nasty mother-in-law, you know what? You be the better person. You be the bigger person. And when your husband sees you doing that and putting in the effort because you're protective of his akhirah, you want him to be successful too. You're trying to lessen the tension in that relationship as much as you can. Allah will see that first and reward you, and your husband will see that too and respect you for it. When your husband's going through a tough time with the family, you're going to be the one to encourage him. No, go reach out to them. No, give your mom more money this month. Hey, you know what? I'm thinking of getting your mom a gift. What do you think we should get her? You be that person. You put your best foot forward, okay? I know that they can be tough, and I'm not saying you should take abuse, right? If there's abuse happening or if the parents are super nasty to you, you have the right to disconnect respectfully. Put your boundaries down, right? Your husband is required to give you a space away from his family. That's your right, okay. But then outside of that, how am I dealing with his family? I need to try to maintain a respectful, kind, good relationship with them, right? As much as you can. So really, really be careful with this. She cares for her husband and fills his life with joy. Girl, you are the light of his life, okay? Make this man obsessed with you. And how do you do that? Be positive energy in his life, okay? I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Pavlov's experiment, but it's essentially like there was a scientist who basically would ring a bell, give a dog a treat, the dog would come running. And then eventually every time the bell rang, the dog would come running. All right, so dog comes running every time he hears the bell. This is a positive reinforcement experiment. When you bring so much positivity to your husband's life, naturally he's going to associate you with happiness. He's not going to know why, but he's going to know he loves spending time with you. He just loves being around you. You just do something for him. And that's because you have this positive attitude. You're not bringing in a lot of negativity to the relationship. You're not complaining too much. Now, I'm not saying don't vent to your husband or suppress everything. That's not what I'm saying. You can talk to each other. You can share with each other, but it's not all you talk about. Right? You're not always complaining about something. You're not always being petty about every little thing. Your husband enjoys talking to you because you bring a lot of joy to his life, right? You win his heart. You get him to admire you because you are so fun and good to spend time around, right? That's what you bring to his life. You want to win over his heart. You want to make him happy. You're kind to him. You don't say disrespectful things to him, right? Just like he's expected to respect you, you respect him as well. Don't be upsetting. Don't provoke him. Ladies, go ahead. Did you have a question? Yeah.
Yeah. One thing I want to say real quick is they say actions speak louder than words.
Yeah.
And when those when as a wife and this is an relationship, whether between parent and child, husband, wife,
right.
friends, siblings, whatever, when one of them performs a good action, then the other is going to be happy with that good action, and then they're going to perform good action.
Absolutely.
And every action has an opposite and equal reaction.
Totally.
And so if you're bringing positivity, then they're going to be positive, and they're going to bring positivity. But on the flip side, if you bring negativity, the same.
Exactly. Absolutely. Yeah, for sure. No, totally. Absolutely. And so we women are very emotionally intelligent. Okay. We know how to work a man. And you know what? I'm not joking. Don't underestimate yourself. Women have influenced kingdoms in history. Okay. You know how to make your man happy. You know what upsets him. You know what he likes, what he doesn't like. You know how to get under his skin. Don't do that. Try to avoid doing the things your husband doesn't like. When you learn what he doesn't like, avoid doing it. When you know what he likes, try to do more of it. Accommodate that. You know the psychology of a man. I just told you, increasing those testosterone levels, that's what's going to get him happy. Keep doing that. And when it comes to conflict, all right, if for whatever reason you guys are upset with each other, don't go to bed angry. It's a big deal. You don't want your husband to go to bed angry with you. Even if you guys are not in agreement, you as the wife need to put your best foot forward and say, you know what? Like a really good woman, a really good woman, she'll sit her husband down, put her hand in his hand and say, listen, I am not going to go to bed until you are pleased with me. That doesn't mean we're going to resolve this issue right here, right now. But at least we need to get to a point where we're not angry with each other. We can talk about it in the morning when we're both refreshed and we've had time to sleep on it, but try to resolve conflict as much as you can. You want to calm the situation. You want to bring down the hostility. Try to be understanding. Again, by the way, keep in mind, we're still talking about this man that we described last week that's patient, that's understanding, that's kind-hearted, that's not quick to lose his temper with you. That's who you're, inshallah, working with because you made the right decision and you chose a good husband, right? But regardless, humans are not perfect. We're all going to make mistakes. We need to try to rectify the situation as much as we can. And I'm going to tell you, so we're going to go back to Sulaym and Abu Talha that we talked about in the beginning. Okay, so when you, like I said, Pavlov, I told you about Pavlov's experience. Whatever you have a chance to give your husband good news, give it to him. Make it always be good stuff coming out of you. If you have bad news, but you don't really need to share it, don't. Tell it to a girlfriend or something. Don't give it to your husband. If you have to tell him, be very wise in your approach and when you tell him. So he's not coming in through the door straight after work. He's tired. He had a fight with his boss. And you're like, I got something really awful to tell you right now. And it's like, girl, I just walked in here. Like, give me a second to breathe, right? No, like, give him a second. Let him decompress first. Like, think about when you're coming to your husband and telling him what you need to tell him, okay? And I'm going to give you a very, very, very impressive example. I am not as good at this lady, mashallah, like she's amazing. But we're going to go back to Sulaym and Abu Talha. So Sulaym and Abu Talha, they had a baby. And at some point he was gone. I don't know if he was on a trip or what the situation was, but when he was gone, the baby died. So when he came home, Sulaym, she put on dinner. She got really dolled up and cute. She sat with him. She talked with him. They had dinner. They were intimate. Okay. And after all that was taken care of and he's relaxed and he's happy, she says, hey, I have a question for you. Says what? She said, what do you feel about if someone borrowed something from someone and then the owner asked for it to be returned? Do you see a problem with that? Do you think that there should be an issue with that? He goes, no, they should return it to the owner. She goes, okay, well, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asked to have your son returned to him today. And he was livid. He's like, what? You ate dinner with me, you slept with me, all of it, and my kid is dead? Like, how could you do that? So he was mad and he went to complain to the Prophet ﷺ. And the Prophet ﷺ said, what a woman. Like, she did an amazing job. That was the best way she could have delivered that news. He goes, may Allah put barakah and blessing in this night for the both of you. SubhanAllah, they conceived a baby that night. And Sulaym, just so you can get a sense of her character, there was a battle while she was pregnant, and she went and fought in the battle next to her husband and the Rasul while she was pregnant. So she was in war. On the way back to Medina, she went into labor. They had the baby. They named him Abdullah. And they brought the baby straight to the Rasul and he chewed up some dates and he put it on the baby's mouth. And the baby was like really enjoying it. And he made like a joke about how the people of Medina really love their dates, right? So it was a happy ending after all. But this is like ultimate, okay? I'm sorry, we are aspiring to be like these ladies, but that's like next level, okay? But this is just an example of like how, mashallah, wise she was in her like delivering bad news, right? Another thing about a good wife, right? You try to calm the situation and you don't jump to divorce right away. Don't ask for a divorce over petty issues. There are deal breakers. There are major things. If there's something haram happening, yes, there are exceptions. But if it's small stuff, things that can be resolved, don't be quick to ask for divorce. Don't create that tension in the marriage, okay? You are your husband's best friend. You are his rock. You do not share his secrets with anyone. Anything he shares in confidence with you, you keep it to yourself. Even if you get divorced, don't tell people what he shared with you. You stand by him and you offer advice. I feel like this falls under, I feel like it falls under both outspoken speaking, like she speaks her mind, and loyal. Loyal comes up again later, but yeah, you offer your advice. Women, being a good wife means being a smart wife. All right, I don't know where anybody got, some cultures, they have this idea that like the wife should be ditzy and like not involved in the relationship. I don't know where that came from because you wouldn't apply that anywhere else in your life. If you're going to start a business, you're not going to hire an airhead to be your business partner. You want the smartest person with you so that you're successful. Or if you have a project at work or at school, I want the best of the best on my team. Kings have advisors, presidents have cabinet members, although this administration isn't the best example of that. But the point is that smart people surround themselves with smart people. I think it was a Pixar CEO that said like the reason that they're so successful is they hire people who are smarter than them and more creative than them. So that's what a smart person does. So why wouldn't you do that in your marriage with the person that you're going to share your life with? Yeah, did you have something you want to say?
Yeah, so I want to bring up historically too. A lot of, especially ancient societies, and I don't want to make it sound like I'm giving credit to kuffar things, but you look at, especially the ancient Greeks, a lot of their I guess if you will, wisdom deities or whatever were personified as female.
Yeah.
And I think really kind of the message of that is that, and I think there are groups of men in society who are very like, oh, women are intelligent.
Mm-hmm.
When I know personally a lot of women who are a lot more intelligent than I am. Like, you know.
Yeah. No, it's a good feature of a Muslim wife to be intelligent because she's going to be her husband's advisor, okay? She will not necessarily always be in the front lines, but she will be the one that's helping guide him. And a good Muslim husband will be receptive to that. He's not going to say, hey, you don't know what you're talking about, woman. No, he's going to be receptive to you. And so the Prophet ﷺ actually used to seek advice from his wives all the time. You soothe his heart and you support him during times of hardship. Ladies, when your husband's going through it, you are there for him. He loses his job, you are there for him. Someone dies in his family, you are there for him. You prop him up. You remind him of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You remind him to be patient. That is your role. You keep him going. You renew his energy. You keep him motivated, right? People always, like, women will sometimes say, like, oh, like, men are supposed to be like the Prophet ﷺ. Why aren't you more like the Prophet ﷺ? We have to ask ourselves, are we like Khadija radiallahu anha? Are we playing that role too? Because she went through a lot with him. And she had a very high status with him because she went through so much with him. She encouraged him. She kept him going. She kept him strong, right? You provide good advice, emotional support, and you are your husband's safe haven, right? You're his safe space. You fill his heart with joy and you become the queen of his heart. We talked about this a little bit, right? Win your husband over. You're the happiness in his life. You're the person that he loves to share things with. I think we already, yeah, okay. You make yourself beautiful for him. Ladies, we wear hijab, and it is one of the hardest things for us because we are vain creatures. We want to look pretty. We want everyone to tell us that we're pretty. And so when you wear your hijab, you're like, oh, I'm suppressing all that. There's a reason, okay? Not everybody gets to have free access to you. All right, not everybody gets to know what you've got going on. Only your righteous husband, only the man that's deserving of you, that's providing for you, that's taking care of you physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. That's the man who gets to see everything you've got going on. It's a respectful thing. You're not a cheap piece of meat for everybody in the universe to look at. All right, this is something just between you and your husband. And Islam not encourages you, tells you, yes, get cute, do your hair, do your makeup, wear your heels, wear your cutest outfits at home. Do whatever, go all out for your man, okay? And he'll be happy and you'll be happy, trust, okay? You're kind, you're clever, you're cheerful, you're friendly. You greet your husband with a smile when he comes home. Just like we said, we want the husband to be good energy coming into the house. You are good energy receiving him in the house, right? You help him forget about his worries. There's stress in life. We all have our own tests. You are his safe haven. You're that person that he can come and decompress with. And you show gratitude to him when he does something good for you. So unfortunately, the Prophet ﷺ told us that the majority of people in Jahannam are women. And there's two reasons for that. Number one is our tongue. We gossip. We do not know how to stop talking about people. It's so bad. And we are ungrateful to our husbands. Now, what does that mean? You ask your husband to get you some milk on the way home and he gets the wrong brand. Oh my God, you always do this. You never do anything right. Every time I ask you, you don't listen to me. You don't hear me. That's ungrateful behavior. Your response can be, Habibi, thank you so much. I know you were tired. Thanks for bringing that on the way home. And then you can go out the next day and get the regular brand that you want, okay? You do not want to keep throwing attitude every single time your husband does something that you don't necessarily like. No one's perfect. You're not going to get it perfect every time, and neither is he. You're supposed to overlook each other's faults. You're supposed to overlook these little mistakes. They're not a big deal, right? And every time your husband does something good for you, reinforce that. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. He makes you a cup of tea. Maybe he put too much sugar in it. It's okay. Thank you so much. I really appreciate this. This was so sweet of you. He feels good. He's going to want to do more of that for you. And you'll reciprocate that as well. So again, be grateful to your husbands. Don't underestimate the things that they do for you. Loyal. Here we go. She doesn't look at other men. Okay. I think everybody is cross off loyal. All right. And she's honorable. Doesn't look at other men, and she does not describe other women to him. Number one, yeah, like these women are out here wearing hijab and you're violating her hijab by sharing the details of what she looks like. Why would you? And also, why would you open that door of fitna with your husband? Why does he need to know what another girl looks like? No. We're not doing that. I'm the only woman you see. I'm the only woman that's worth looking at. I'm cute. That's it. She encourages her husband to spend for the sake of Allah. Yes, push your husband. Make sure that he's spending on his family. Make sure that he's spending sadaqah. If you have any influence in the finances, let's put aside some money every month, Habibi, that we put towards charity or third type of sadaqah. You help your husband obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You keep him in line in his deen. Obviously, he's the qawam. He's the one who's going to keep you on track with your deen as well, but you're going to encourage him because iman fluctuates, right? Faith goes up and down. You're going to reinforce him in that. Wake him up for qiyam. Wake him up for fajr, right? Be that person. And if your husband is difficult to wake up, be gentle, try. If he doesn't wake up, the hadith actually says that you take some warm water, put it on your hands, and just gently put it on his face. It'll wake him up. But the idea is that everything you do is gentle, soft, sweet, right? You help your husband maintain his good character. Keep him straight, ladies. All right? Now, who are you? You are a strong woman. You are wise. You are mature. You are level-headed. You're smart. You're brave. You follow Islam to the T, and you don't let anyone influence you otherwise. Your husband cannot make you deviate from Islam. If he tries to make you do something haram, no, you put your foot down. That's where you can disobey, all right? You don't allow anyone to misguide you. You're humble, but you're not weak. You're grateful. You're patient. You're well-behaved. You're easygoing. You're loving. You're tactful. You're strategic. You're mature. You're tolerant and forgiving. You don't hold a grudge. I know this is a lot. That's why this book is 200 pages longer, right? But again, I'm reminding you, you are the wives that are supporting these men. You are the mothers of this ummah. What you do is what's going to reflect on what the ummah becomes. You're intelligent. You're respectful. You're loyal. You're insightful. You're deep. I think we already talked about some of these, but we said the pious part. We said the modest part, right? And then I think honesty is on here. You're smart. And then I think communicator, we talked about it a little bit. Okay. And if you do all these things, right, you are by far the most successful wife in the world. Okay. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows what we need as men and women, and he knows what's going to make this relationship successful. I told you last week, it's like yin and yang. It's two puzzle pieces. They're very different, but when they come together, they fit perfectly. You can have very happy, loving marriages, and you can be very successful in your marriage if both of you are following what the deen expects of you. And at the end of the day, if you put in your efforts, maybe your husband's not receptive to everything, maybe he gets annoyed, and when you say sorry, he's not necessarily giving in. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sees you and is rewarding you. And everybody will be held accountable to their own actions. So at the end of the day, ask yourself, am I doing my part? Before I start criticizing my husband and saying, well, I saw Eman's lecture on Sunday, and you're not a righteous husband because you don't do this and this and this. Ask yourself first, am I a righteous wife? Am I doing everything that's expected of me? And inshallah, may Allah make it easy for all of us. May Allah grant us all with righteous husbands and righteous wives, and make it a beautiful and happy and harmonious relationship, alhamdulillah. Now I will open the floor to questions. Thank God I still have Shamsuddin here, so if anything is controversial, I'm throwing it your way. But yeah, any questions? Oh, come on, this is such a fun topic. No way you guys don't have comments or questions. I did it last week, and it is online. I did post it on YouTube. I can share the link again, or I can have you share the link again if you like, in the group chat. But yes, we already talked about that last week.
I guess I'll continue to do the vocal one.
Let's hear it.
So my father, he's more Buddhist than anything else.
Mhm.
But he's kind of said the same general things as that: reciprocation,
Mhm.
loyalty to each other,
Mhm.
you know, not having that lustful gaze and such,
Yep.
and being good to your partner because, you know, he told me your vibe attracts your tribe.
Right.
If you're putting out, you know, if you're a good, you know, because a lot of Joe says that the best of good deeds are the ones that are done behind closed doors.
Right.
Because Allah is the only one watching, you know. But where I'm kind of going is that when you're, you know, for Muslims, you know, you're going to the masjid because you want to go, not just because you're obligated, because you want to. You're from Salah because you want to, not because it's an obligation, but because you want to from Salah. You're reading Quran, you're doing these things to improve yourself as a man or a woman, and in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And you know, so if you're putting out that good energy, so to speak, you will, insha'Allah, find a woman or a man who will be reciprocal of that.
Absolutely.
In a sense, almost a manifestation in a way.
Absolutely.
If you're putting out, you know, if you're doing haram,
Yeah.
you're going out drinking bars, smoking weed, whatever,
Right.
you're going to attract a woman that's like that, and then or a man,
Yep.
and you're going to wonder, why is my wife or why is my husband, you know, all these haram things, but then you yourself are also engaging in haram.
Absolutely. That's a good point that you make. Obviously, like one of the things we have to pay attention to is that before you get into a marriage, you really have to evaluate your character and your deen, right? We have to build ourselves up and grow and know what we're responsible for before we head into this, because it can be very, very difficult otherwise. So inshallah, may Allah make it easy for us. Jackie.
I want to say thank you so much for the beautiful lecture and for last week's as well. And I just wanted to say thank you as a revert. This is so important.
Thanks.
To understand, and this is stuff I wish I had known.
Yeah.
And may you be rewarded for all of this.
Thank you. Jazakallah khair. Thank you, Jackie. That means a lot. Thank you. Carmen, yes.
I got a question.
Yes, hear it.
So does it discuss like a couple time to get to know
Mm-hmm.
you beforehand? A little bit of comfort level.
Sure.
Because it's very you know, and this is just another point that
Right.
the attractive things a man is, you know, quality of this part and
Yep.
the intelligence
Yep.
and the caring.
Absolutely.
There's so many things expected instead of just a one.
Absolutely. Yes.
You know, and
Yeah.
I think that's always been a missing.
Right. No, it's good that you say that. And that's kind of what we were talking about in the beginning of the lecture, where it was saying, like, when you're looking at attractiveness, it's not just physicality. You're looking at a person's character. That's what we need to evaluate. And so, and Shams can keep me honest, but basically in Islam, there's not like a set timeline of like how long it takes to get to know the person, right? But the recommendation is you want to see this person in as many like facets as you can. So watch how he interacts with his family. That's where he gets really comfortable, right? And same thing with the sisters and the brothers, right? Brothers, watch how the girl interacts with her family. Things will come out, right? And you are looking to see, is this person genuine or is it this a facade that he's putting on for me? He comes to the masjid every day and he does all these things and he talks the big talk, but then behind closed doors, he doesn't treat people right. He's disrespectful, he's nasty, or he's mean. That's not a religious person. That's not what I'm looking for in a husband, right? So on top of him being physically attractive, this is not the priority, obviously, but on top of that, is he somebody that I trust as a good Muslim and I know that will be respectful in our day-to-day life? That's the question. There you go. Yeah, like how does he treat people? Yeah, exactly. So that's what you're looking at. So yeah, there's no set time frame. You take the time that you need to get those answers. Yeah, dating is haram, sister. We're not doing. This is all halal courtship. I'm gonna just put that disclaimer out there. I just said so.
I would recommend, of course, in public spaces, but for the man and woman to get to know each other, they're around each other's families.
Yep.
And of course, obviously, until they're married, they can't be behind closed doors together.
Yep.
But and of course, no touching or anything else. But
Right.
you know, you can still go to the coffee shop and talk, or
Yeah.
you know, go and be with each other's parents.
Absolutely.
And talk with them.
And that's also why you ask around. Ask people who know this person. What do you know about this brother? What's your experience with him? Oh, he's, people will know. Things will come out. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will guide you. Yeah, no need for spying. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, absolutely. And the most important thing is you make your istikhara. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to guide you in the decision and he'll make it clear. Go ahead, Brother Ibrahim.
I was going to add on a few things, sisters.
Yeah.
It was a beautiful position.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Jazakallah khair. Thank you. Thanks.
Especially the hadith you mentioned. But also, I see this marriage in Islam is, yes, there's a lot of responsibilities on the men.
Yes,
But there's a lot of expectations from the woman.
absolutely.
So it's kind of equal job.
Mhm.
Makes it that perfect blend.
You're right.
And yes,
Mm-hmm.
one side is expectation, the other side is responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
What you mentioned, sister, I think there's a wisdom behind it. Like, we shouldn't be like having that kind of period to like get to know each other and things like. Now, looking at the society we're living in, there's also a hadith that every environment has its own.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So we gotta also keep that in mind. In the U.S., I think the divorce rate is 70 or 75%.
Mhm.
Why? You gotta ask the question, right? Because the problem is they're doing the opposite of what Islam teaches. Islam says, alright, when you're ready to have that life, go get married. Find someone, right? But then they get exhausted of having that life already, like going around and little dying, right? And then one day, we're like, alright, I'm tired, I gotta settle now, and then I gotta marry. But when they're married, there's an instant thing. They've already kind of exhausted themselves. They're over there.
Right.
So that's how I see, that's what I see the wisdom behind this concept.
Person. I gotta make sure that we have that passion.
Yes.
Because you feel that, and when you meet somebody new, you might be so excited, they seem perfect,
Right.
and that's fine, but that's actually not what builds you. You don't have to have that for your perfect marriage, because it's not gonna be there 15 years from now anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So, you're gonna need to be based on more logical things.
Absolutely.
Anyway. So,
And that's
I
where
call that married.
No, you're good.
I call that Hollywood marriage.
Hollywood marriage, yeah.
Hollywood has a huge influence on that.
It's true, yes.
You will not see that every marriage is perfect in there.
Right.
Right? But we live in a real reality. It's
Right.
different. And now one more thing I want to add.
Yeah, go for it.
When you were mentioning all those things,
Mhm.
that how the sister got to behave, one thing also is men and sisters both got to keep in mind, we will have those what you call moments.
Yes.
We will confront each other.
Absolutely.
What you call, things will go against what you call each other, and we're not going to agree on things and all that. It shouldn't be Hollywood marriage.
Mm-hmm.
If it's Hollywood marriage, there's something wrong.
Right.
Someone is hiding something.
Absolutely.
Especially given the societal what you call pressure and everything, there will be things, but you got to learn how to overcome them.
Yep.
Don't reach what you call the separation level.
Mhm. Yeah, I agree.
I
And
see that as
absolutely. And the key in that too is just maintain respect. You're going to have disagreements, but there's no reason why you should get disrespectful with one another. And as far as the getting to know them part too, there's a responsibility there. Yes, we have the freedom to choose, but also take advice from the people around you that have wisdom, that know better. Your parents, hear them out. They might see red flags that you don't, and you go, no, but daddy, I love him. No, wait, let's slow down for a second. You might not be seeing clearly. So try to really take that in, right? Yeah, inshallah. Anything else?
I would like to add on to what the sister here said. You know, in the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does say that, you know, there is, you know, someone appointed for everybody
Yes.
as a partner. But one thing I'd like to add on is that nobody is going to be that perfect someone off of that.
Right.
You have to grow into that together.
Right.
And that's one thing my dad has also kind of taught me, is that nobody, no one in the world, no matter how pretty or, you know, pious or what have you, they could be the perfect
Person.
Muslim.
Mhm.
You know, because of course me being Muslim, he uses that as an example. He told me, he's like, she could be the perfect Muslim woman. But that doesn't mean that it will be a perfect marriage right away.
Right, absolutely.
Because you have to grow into that together. You have to grow into being each other's one, as they say.
Absolutely, yes. And we talked about this last week too. We talked about how the word hub in Arabic, which is the word, it comes from the root word of seed, which is hab. And hab, they have the same nature, where a seed, it'll grow if you nurture it, you water it, but if you leave it and you don't take care of it, it will die. So same thing with love and marriage, and inshallah having a successful relationship, you have to put in the work, inshallah, and support each other. This was so awesome. Thanks, guys. I love the discussion. Anything else? All right. Okay. Well, in that case, thank you so much. Jazakallah khair. So I'll give us a closing dua, inshallah. Bismillah. Subhanallah wa bihamdik. Nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Alhamdulillah. Jazakallah khair, everybody. Thank you so much.